Hey everyone, I'm Abbey Sharp. Welcome to Abby's Kitchen. In response to a ton of your requests, today I'm turning it back all on you and reviewing your meals. Now, I asked you to send me a photo and description of one or more of your meals and snacks, and I would give you my honest thoughts, and I would try to review 3 breakfasts, 3 lunches, 3 dinners, and 3 snacks to spread the love. I have to tell you, I received hundreds of submissions within hours, and I did not purposefully choose any of them. I literally just opened an email randomly and put it on my list. So if yours was not selected, keep watching for an upcoming episode, because if this video does well, I will continue to do them because I had so much fun seeing all of your amazing meals and snacks. I also want to note that the purpose of this, of course, is to not analyze a specific person's diet in the context of their unique needs, but to give all of you some ideas on how you can optimize your meals and snacks, and also just some creative new ideas for meal planning and for snacks. I know that I was really inspired. Now, before we get into this, a few disclaimers. First of all, the information in this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only, so you should always speak to a healthcare provider about your unique healthcare needs. Second, the recommendations for each individual meal that I review is designed to give you a variety of ideas on how to optimize meals for balance, variety, and satiety. Whether or not one individual meal or even one day is balanced or healthy does not matter in the grand scheme of one's health, especially if a person is eating in response to their physical and emotional needs. These suggestions are just examples and inspiration for you, but you can also gather this data for yourself over time by listening to your body. 3, please be kind in the comments. I do not want to see anyone shaming anyone else for their food choices. And finally, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring that little bell so that you never miss out. All right, so let's get into breakfast, starting with Exhibit A. Okay, so my fan described this as 2 eggs, 2 mini bell peppers, a half cup of red onions, and 3 cups of spinach cooked in some avocado oil from a spray can and topped it with some buffalo sauce from Noble Made. She also had a Honeycrisp apple on the side. This looks incredible. I mean, we have a solid amount of protein plus some fat from the eggs, along with a variety of colorful antioxidant-rich veggies, a little hot sauce for flavor without, of course, adding a lot of sugar, and some carbs in the apple. Super balanced, and I'm sure really satiating. And if she wanted to beef this up a bit, maybe if this was like a post-workout snack and she needed a little bit more carb and a little bit more protein, she could throw in maybe some nutritional yeast on top and serve it with some whole grain bread. Beautiful. Let's move on to Exhibit B. So this person said that after experimenting with a bunch of more typical breakfasts, she finally found something that kept her satiated and full. So this is a breakfast salad with kale, romaine, onions, homemade sauerkraut, red cabbage, broccoli, carrots, cucumber, half of a block of air-fried tofu, a couple tablespoons of tahini drizzled on top, as well as a squeeze of lemon. She also said that this was the best breakfast for her after a night of breastfeeding, and that the rest of her diet is really high in carbs. This is gorgeous, and I love that she's switching things up from the typical breakfast fare like oatmeal and toast to find something that works uniquely for her as breastfeeding fuel. I can attest that the hunger when you're breastfeeding is intense. So we've got lots of colorful antioxidant-rich veggies here, packed with satiating fiber. We've got a good amount of protein from the tofu and some fat in the tahini. I also love that she's got some sauerkraut on top, and we know that fermented foods have some really important probiotic benefits. And I would say that depending on how it's made, a homemade version likely has a lot more of those beneficial bacteria than a store-bought canned version, which are often made with vinegar and have been pasteurized, which can kill off a lot of that bacteria. And while I would normally say we could definitely add more carbs into the mix, if she said her snack and the rest of her meals around this day are carb rich and she isn't restricting, then ultimately that's all that matters. Balance over the day or even during the week is much more important to me than achieving a perfect balance at every meal. But if not, I mean, she could throw in some quinoa or rice or serve this with bread or fruit. Super delicious looking start to the day. Let's see Exhibit C. I just love this shot. It looks like, green juice to the rescue. And I don't know why that comes to mind, but it's like a modern day millennial Popeye image for me right now. But anyways, this smoothie apparently has pea protein, kale, banana, avocado, mango, and flaxseed. And apparently this fan has it with an ounce of almonds on the side to help boost the satiety factor. This is a pretty solid breakfast in my books. I mean, we've got protein from the pea protein powder and flax, healthy fats from the avocado, flax, and the nuts, carbs from the banana and mango, plus we've got some extra fiber and veg. I also like that this person combines their easy on-the-go smoothie with a nice chewable snack like almonds, which not only contributes some extra satiating nutrition, but the sheer act of chewing may also help with the psychological satisfaction factor. I don't know, I'm typically not a smoothie person because I feel more emotionally satisfied chewing my food sitting down, but for a fast run out the door option, this looks and sounds awesome. Now let's move on to lunch exhibit A. Okay, so this is apparently half of a sweet potato with some peppers and onions roasted in oil, garlic, and salt with some couscous and wilted spinach. First of all, I love how simple, easy, yet nutrient dense this lunch is. We've got a lot of colorful antioxidant and fiber-rich veg, plus some fat in the cooking oil and carbs from the sweet potato and couscous. And couscous is legit one of the easiest, fastest sides of life. And to me, lunch has to be fast. No one has time to cook an elaborate meal in the middle of a busy workday. So it's either really easy, it's leftovers, or it's Uber Eats. For me at least. So I would probably suggest boosting up the protein maybe by adding in some canned beans or canned lentils to the couscous to keep it plant-based and simple, or even just kind of going to town with what I sometimes call sprinkles. So nuts, seeds, nutritional yeast, hemp hearts, things like that. But otherwise, I'm just totally encouraged by how easy yet satisfying this lunch looks. Looks awesome. So let's move on to Exhibit B. Okay, so this fan described this as her favorite low-calorie quesadilla made with 2 Fiber One wraps, Perdue fajita chicken strips, Kraft low-fat mozzarella, 100-calorie pack of guacamole, and hot sauce with lime, and it's all cooked with cooking spray. First of all, love me a good quesadilla. It's legit one of my favorite meals of all time because I basically just will use up whatever I have in the fridge and then chuck it in there with some cheese. And now I'm totally craving quesadillas, so thanks a lot for that. Baby's kicking just thinking about it. So I get that this is supposed to be low calorie, as that was how it was described in the email, but I don't think we need to necessarily demonize full-fat cheese. If you compare Kraft's regular versus their low-fat mozzarella, for example, the regular has just 1 gram more of saturated fat per serving, but the low-fat has more sodium. Yet they have the exact same amount of calories. And arguably, I don't know about you, but I think you're gonna get way more satisfaction out of the real full-fat stuff. And if you are watching your sodium, just be mindful that there is quite a bit of salt in things like pre-cooked chicken strips and cheese and prepared guacamole, though I am all for taking shortcuts if they help you get a balanced meal on the table in the middle of a busy day. So maybe just something to keep in mind with your other choices later on in that day. But I like that we have some higher fiber carbs in the wrap. We've got protein in the chicken and cheese, and it's really convenient, and lots of healthy fats in the avocado. The only thing missing in my books would be some veg. So I would personally try to pair this with a salad. Even chopped greens from a bag would be really super easy and really great. Let's take a look at lunch C. Love a good cold plate for lunch, especially on hot days when I do not want to actually have something boiling hot. So here we have a Mediterranean white bean and olive dip with some pita. We've got tomatoes and purple cabbage slaw, which has balsamic, cilantro, and olive oil. So delicious looking. We've got some fat and protein from the dip, carbs in the pita, of course, and fiber-rich veg. I personally probably wouldn't be satisfied on this portion and would probably want a bit more of, I don't know, like everything, but definitely the protein and maybe a little bit more slaw because I just love slaw and I love cabbage. So maybe I would just double up on the dip or add like a little kebab of grilled tofu, fish or chicken. You could also do like a Greek yogurt tzatziki if you want to keep it to the theme, like the no-cook theme. But man, like I love the color and I love the creativity. That dip alone sounds totally divine. Let's move on to dinner exhibit A. This looks insanely good. Legit out of a cookbook. So yeah, you've sold me, but this is a bolognese sauce made with lentils and tomatoes, topped with vegan cheese, nutritional yeast, and served with whole wheat pasta. Love that we've got some plant-based protein in there with the lentils and the nutritional yeast, plus some fiber-rich carbs from the spaghetti and the lentils and some fat in the cheese. All that I would probably add to this, maybe some veg. So whether that means kind of going halfsies and doing some zoodles with the spaghetti, or wilting in some spinach or kale into the sauce, or just serving this with a little side green salad with any of your favorite greens or veggies. But looks like a really simple, inexpensive, and satisfying meal. Let's take a look at dinner exhibit B. Yum! Okay, so here we have Parmesan coated baked chicken breasts with a spinach salad made with some red peppers, onion, pine nuts, and a homemade dressing with olive oil, apple cider vinegar, and Dijon mustard. And she's serving it with a little dessert of rice cakes, topped with some almond butter, banana, hemp hearts, and dark chocolate. Well, the girl knew that I would approve if she put some hemp hearts on top. No, but seriously, this looks great. We've got a solid amount of protein with the chicken, of course, and some fat in there from the dressing, the nuts, the nut butter, and the cheese. And we've got lots of colorful produce in the salad and the banana, and a bit of carbs in the dessert. Sure, I do think that there's room for some carbs in the main meal itself if you wanted. I mean, the dessert is even pretty low carb for a dessert. So you could throw in some panko on that chicken breast, or some berries, grains, or like homemade croutons in the salad, or just serve it up with some sweet potato or rice or some like crusty bread. I think that if you are having a higher carb dessert and feel best on the lower end of the carb intake spectrum, it's totally reasonable to have a lower carb dinner. But it's also totally reasonable to have carbs with dinner and dessert. I mean, you do what feels good to you. And personally, I do both, depending on how I'm feeling that day and what else I've eaten that day. Ultimately, this meal looks really balanced and doesn't feel restrictive at all. I mean, we've even got chocolate, so I'm loving that. Now let's round things off with dinner exhibit C. Okay, this is an easy rice pilaf made with cranberries, almonds, herbs, and oil. Served with jarred ajvar, which is like a roasted red pepper sauce, and a whole roasted cauliflower topped with tahini. How creative. I mean, I'm getting so much inspiration here too. So I love that we've got carbs from the rice and the cranberries. We've got healthy fats from the tahini, almonds, and oil, plus a good amount of fiber in the cauliflower, which is standing in as like the star of the show right now. All I would suggest is maybe bumping up the protein a bit. So we could throw some lentils or chickpeas into the pilaf, just kind of stir them in there. Or you could totally hack that jarred roasted red pepper sauce by pureeing in some nutritional yeast or some white beans. Super delicious regardless, and this person has totally reminded me that I need to roast a whole cauliflower again sometime soon. Okay, let's finish things off with my favorite category, snacks, starting with Exhibit A. So for snack here, we've got 2 sheets of graham crackers with a bowl of cherries and a string cheese. And this fan says she's having a hard time sneaking protein into her snacks because she doesn't really like nuts or seeds. I hear you, girl. I mean, this is a common question that I get from a lot of fans who not only maybe don't like nuts or seeds, but may also have allergies to them. So first, let's talk about what we've got going on. We've got fat and some protein in the cheese and some carbs in the cherries and the graham crackers. And a lot of people don't know this, but just 1 square of graham cracker has just 1 gram of sugar. So even though they do taste pretty sweet, they're relatively low sugar, and I actually use them to make toddler-friendly Pop-Tarts, which I'll leave a recipe to below, so definitely check that out. Now, I don't know what brand of cheese string that is, but 1 string cheese typically does offer about 6 to 7 grams of protein, which isn't bad for a snack. Plus, it has a little bit of satiating fat. Mozzarella cheese is typically the lowest sodium cheese, and honestly, even though these packaged snacks seem super processed, fresh mozzarella is just slightly lower in sodium. So if something like a string cheese is convenient and easy for you, great. I love all cheese. But for other even higher protein options, you could also dip the cherries and crackers into some Greek yogurt or cottage cheese, or make a chia pudding with yogurt and milk and like layer the cherries and crush some graham crackers on top or inside. Oh, that would legit taste like cheesecake, and I'm stealing that idea of mine for myself. So let's take a look at snack B. So this is a bowl of Greek yogurt bark. It's basically made with Greek yogurt, berries, and Lily's chocolate chips. And this fan has type 1 diabetes, and Lily's chocolate chips are sweetened with stevia. So they may be a good choice for people who are watching their blood sugars. And it looks amazing. I mean, we've got protein from the yogurt, carbs and some fiber from the berries, plus little fat and deliciousness from the chocolate. I mean, it's such a genius snack for summer, and one that I hope people will definitely get some inspiration from, because I feel like the sky is just the limit on what you could add here. So I would probably throw in some like chopped nuts, seeds, or hemp parts, of course, or swirl in some nut butter for some extra healthy fats. I would also recommend using fuller fat yogurt. I don't know what she's used here, but we do know, and we do have research linking the consumption of higher fat dairy, especially fermented dairy like yogurt, to better weight management and better blood sugar management. And if you have a mild sensitivity to lactose, going full fat with your dairy may actually help because it is lower in lactose. And early research does suggest that one of the fats in dairy, butyric acid, may have some gut protective benefits. It's also just more inherently satiating and arguably tastes way better, so do not be afraid to go full fat. Finally, let's take a look at snack C. So this is 2 chia rice cakes topped with some almond butter and strawberries. Looks delish. I don't know what brand of rice cakes this is, but I will say that even the ones that I'm aware of that have chia in them are still really low in fat, fiber, and protein. I mean, we're looking at less than a gram each. It's certainly not a bad option, but I kind of think of all rice cakes as being pretty low in nutrition on their own and are more of like a vehicle for getting nutrition in. So if the chia ones are way more expensive than the regular ones, I would probably just go with the cheap and cheerful bargain ones. But I do love that we have some fiber, protein, and healthy fats in the nut butter and some carbs in the strawberries and rice cakes. But I would say if you did want the benefits of chia, I would probably just sprinkle a little bit of the chia on top, or flax, or hemp hearts, or any other nutrient-dense sprinkle that you like. But delicious combo, and totally something that I would do myself. So, woo, we have a lot of amazing ideas here, and I would be totally thrilled with any or all of them. I mean, can somebody please come over and make me a meal soon? And if I didn't cover yours, like I said, I'm choosing randomly. So check out the description box for how to submit your meals today. And of course, a reminder to please be kind and supportive in the comments. And if you like this video, be sure to give it the thumbs up. Let me know that you like this. If you want more videos like this, leave me a comment below on your thoughts on this new series concept. Did you like it? Did you get something out of it? Was it fun? I want to know. Also subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time on Abby's Kitchen. Bye!